This is our midterm study guide. This is part number 7, and it will be of 7 videos. We're beginning at number 71, just going through 75. A line passes through 1, -5, and -3, 7. Write an equation in point slope form and then rewrite it in slope intercept form. So this is x sub 1, y sub 1. Remember, it's always x then y because that's alphabetical order. X sub 2 and y sub 2. Your point slope form again is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So you're going to leave y minus, we'll actually do it that way. We'll leave equals and we'll leave x minus, and then we'll plug in the rest. The problem with this is we don't have a slope given to us. We got a point, and we can use either one we want. We'll use that first one. Our y sub 1 value will be -5, and our x sub 1 value will be 1. But we're missing our slope value. So what we need to do is we need to take those 2 points we got, and we have to use the slope formula to go ahead and find what our slope is. Remember, our slope formula is m equals the change of y, so y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Anytime you're thinking of change of something, you're always subtracting over the change of x. So x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So when we plug those values in that we have, our y sub 2 value is 7. Actually, we can do it over here. 7 minus y sub 1's value is -5. Over x sub 2's value is -3. Minus x sub 1 is 1. So 7 minus a negative would be 7 plus 5, which is 12. Over -3 minus 1. Both of those have the same sign, so add them up. 3 plus 1 is 4, and they're both negative, so keep it negative. So 12 over -4 means 12 divided by -4. Positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So your m value is -3. So that's what we were missing in our point slope form, our m value. So right there, we'll plug that -3 value in right there. So the only change we have to make to y minus a -5 equals -3 times x minus 1 is to get rid of minus a negative. That means plus. So y plus 5 equals -3 times x minus 1. And this is our first part, A. It tells us to write it in point slope form. Here we go. Second part says rewrite it in slope intercept form. So what you need to do at this point is you need to simplify it. -3 is right outside of the parentheses, so go ahead and distribute. -3 times x will be -3x. And -3 times -1, negative times a negative is a +3. I'll just bring the rest of this down, y plus 5. The only other thing we have to do, we want slope intercept form, so that's y equals mx plus b. So let's get y by itself. In order to do that, it says y plus 5, undo plus 5. You subtract 5 there, subtract 5 from the term you can subtract it from on the right. These will cancel. You didn't do anything to -3x, so we'll leave it as -3x. And then 3 minus 5 will be a -2 or -2. This is your slope intercept form. So y plus 5 equals -3 times x minus 1. This is your point slope form, or A. And this is your slope intercept form, or B. And you have to do both of those things for that question. Number 72, are they parallel? And explain. First thing, parallel, that means they have the same slope. Simple. So our first equation, y equals 1/6 x plus 8, that's in slope intercept form already. Y equals mx plus b. M is your slope. So your slope is already shown to you for that first one. So m is 1/6. So in order for the two equations, I'm sorry, 1/2. I wrote 1/2. I meant to write 1/6. In order for those two equations to be parallel, they have to have m value of 1/6. We have to look at this second equation. We have to move that standard form into slope intercept form to where we can see whatever the slope is. Move -2x over. That says -2x or -2x. Add 2x. If you add it to the left, add it to the right. These will cancel and leave you with 12y equals, it's mx plus b, so leave it your x term first. 2x plus b plus a -11, which means -11. Then do one more thing, get rid of 12 times y. Undo that by dividing by 12. That'll give you just y because these two will cancel. But if you divide the left by 12, you got to divide everything on the right by 12. The number 2 goes into both 2 and 12. 2 times 1 over 2 times 6x minus 11 over 12. And then you could cancel these out, 2 divided by 2, which leaves you with your value here as 1 over 6. So 1 over 6x minus 11 over 12 equals y. So y equals mx plus b. Here is your m value, which multiplying by x. So notice your m value is the same as the original one we got, 1/6. And since that's the same, they both have the same slope. So yes, they are parallel, and when it says explain, they have the same slope. 73's, this is an example it's going to come out where they're not the same slope, I'm pretty sure. But again, y equals mx plus b. So your slope of your first equation is 5. That one's simple to see. You can see it. The second one, we have to move it to where we can see. It says negative 18x or minus 18x. Undo that by adding 18x. If you add it on the left, add 18x on the right. These will cancel and leave you with just 3y equals 18x because you want mx first, plus b is minus 54. Undo 3 times y by dividing by 3. That'll cancel and leave you with just y. But if you divide the left by 3, you got to divide the right by 3. 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6x. Minus, it's going to go into it once, and minus 18. So y equals 6x minus 18. Y equals mx plus b. So your m value is 6. Notice when you compare the two slopes, 5 and 6, they are not the same. So no, these are not parallel. When you have to explain it, different, they got different slopes. They have different slopes. 74, write an equation that's parallel to this that passes through this point. If it's parallel, just a second ago, we said it has the same slope. So if this one says y equals mx, that is your slope value of your first equation. M's value is negative 5. And if it passes through the point negative 6, 3, we're going to use that point to find out what our b is. Now, it says write an equation that's parallel to it. It doesn't tell you what type of an equation. It doesn't say to write it in slope-intercept form or to write it in point-slope form. Now, the easiest one to do, since you have a point and you have a slope, is to write it in this form here, point-slope form. So that's what we're going to do. Y, we're going to leave y minus, we're going to leave equals, and we're going to leave x minus, and we're going to fill in everything else. This is our x sub 1, and this is our y sub 1. So y minus y sub 1 will be y minus 3. We'll just bring it and plug it in there. Equals m's value, we got it here. Plug it in place of m, negative 5. And then x minus, this is our x value, negative 6. Plug it in right here, negative 6. So we have minus and negative. We just have to make one change to it. Y minus 3 equals negative 5 times x. Instead of minus and negative, it means plus 6. Point slope form. If you wrote it in slope intercept form, real quick, negative 5 times x, negative 5x minus 30, you would add 3, so it'd be y equals negative 5x minus 27 would be your slope intercept form. And then the last one of the study guide, again, writing it something that's parallel, passes through the given point. So 3/4 x, remember y equals mx plus b, your slope is 3/4. So that's the one we're going to use. That's the only information from that first equation that we want, m equals 3/4. This is your point, negative 8, negative 18. So that is your x sub 1 and your y sub 1 values. We have a point now and we have the slope, so we're going to use point slope form. Y minus equals x minus, and we're going to plug the rest in. Y minus y sub 1 is y minus 18, or minus negative 18, I should say, equals m's value is 3/4 times x minus x sub 1 minus a negative 8. So we got to make two changes to this one, but they're the same change. Minus a negative means y plus 18 equals, we'll leave 3/4 alone. X minus a negative means x plus 8. And that's it for our study guide. Everybody, y plus 18 equals 3/4 times x plus 8.